Good evening, children of the night. Welcome to Virtual Horror Con's horrible, terrifying cosplay. I am your host, David Tveraas, and I've crossed oceans of time to have this panel with these amazing panelists. Let's start off with introductions. I'm David Tveraas, David TV Games on both Twitch and YouTube. I am the Gen Con IT manager and also run the V5 show Blood City on the Onyx Path Twitch channel. Rachel, why don't you take up the next introduction?
Hi, I'm Rachel. My day job is freelance writer. Full disclosure, I am not a cosplayer, but I am heavily involved in LARP and I have made a whole bunch of costumes for LARP. And I'm here in case people want sewing advice, crafting advice. I'm here to help. Hi.
Always helpful. Natalie, all the way from Russia, Privyet, please start your introduction.
Hello, but sorry, I'm not from Russia. I'm from Ukraine.
Oh.
Yes, my name is
Sorry.
Natalie. It's okay. I'm from Ukraine, as it was said. I'm community manager of Russian-speaking Vampires the Masquerade fan community, and I'm a little bit of cosplayer, so I like to connect LARP costumes to making it and also to making costumes for cosplay.
All right, going down my list, Cassandra Leigh.
Hi, I'm Kassandra Leigh. I'm co-owner of Devil's Luck Gaming. That's at Team Devil's Luck on Twitter and, well, self-explanatory for Twitch. I do a bit of traditional cosplay, but I actually kind of found my way into LARP and tabletop gaming. We really focus a lot more on that these days for having like a overall immersion thing, not just costumes, but like set design and stuff, which I think has some overlay.
Absolutely. Since you're both together, NotMyCake.
Hi, I'm Nikita, also known as Cake. I'm here also part of the Devil's Luck crew. I do cosplay on the side. Primarily, I enjoy the big armor builds, so like Diablo armor, Overwatch. Basically, if I am completely unrecognizable from myself, I'm happy. So getting into tabletop over the past almost a year now, streaming it has been interesting, trying to figure out the differences, but I'm kind of enjoying it. But I'm here primarily for the armor crafting.
Outstanding. And last but not least, May Leigh Damage.
Hello, I'm May Leigh Damage. I am known, I think, most for music. Not entirely certain. I also do tabletop game streaming and storytelling, and have dabbled in cosplay for probably the past 10 years here and there, and just kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I dabble a little in armor, a little in sewing, a little in makeup, a little in hair. I'm a jack of all trades, master of absolutely none of it. And yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, before we get started with this slideshow you see in the large body of the screen there, I'm going to give, just for fun, this poll for who is giving you the most fun, favorite, whatever. It is very non-specific, so you can interpret that however you wish. And now back to the slideshow, I believe, if this is working out. It looks like on my screen that there's a lot of blank spots. I'm not sure what's happening right now, but hopefully we'll fix that up soon. Looks like we're all mostly in the main screen. Are we back yet? Someone give me a word as soon as we're having a visibility once again. Well, anyway, since that's not quite working at the moment, let's mix up the order here and go straight to topics. Topic number 1, how you started cosplay. Let's do the same order. Rachel, how did you start making your cosplay items and etc.?
So my mom taught me how to sew when I was really, really young, maybe about 10. And I just never really went beyond that at that point. But then as a young adult, I started getting into LARP and the fantasy buffer LARP and the vampire LARPs, which, they all want really, interesting costumes. And so I inherited a sewing machine from a friend and just went from there.
All right. Yeah, great story. How about Natali? How did you start your LARPing? Or sorry, cosplaying?
Yeah, I started cosplay after LARPing. So I was working as a teacher, and I had one student who was excited for Witcher 3 series books, and she presented me a CD with a video game, and I tried this game, and then asked her, who is Yennefer you are talking about? And she, no, please read books, please read books. I read all books, and then I liked this character, so I wanted to. I was waiting when when we get appearance of this character, so I made it as the first one. It was Yennefer from The Witcher 3. And I'm sorry about my English.
No, it's fantastic. I'm understanding every word. I love the Witcher books. They're fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen once we get the slideshow going, we'll see some of your Witcher cosplay, mostly inspired by the video games. It's fantastic.
You make a fantastic Yennefer. I definitely looked it up as well. I was like, oh my God, it's so good.
What do you think about show Yennefer?
Honestly, I'm not sure if it's that Yennefer what I imagined when I read books. So for me, it's so. She's a great actress, but I'm not sure if it's a good role for her.
Yeah, that's definitely different interpretation for sure. Kassandra Leigh, please tell us how you started.
I actually learned sewing from my mom as well, but mostly because I pestered her for costumes for the Ren Fair as a little kid, and we couldn't afford any of them. Like, how they have the ability to rent a costume? No. It was too much money. So she taught me some basic stuff for Ren fairs, and that's kind of gave me a foundation to try and push into cosplay later on, because I liked costumes in general, and then later on I found out there was cosplay as well. The line seemed weird to me. It seemed unnecessary. It's just costumes, everybody, and it's all fucking fantastic. So I just kind of liked to do a little bit of everything. And it turns out I really hate sewing, but I'm good at gluing things and photographing them. So I lean more towards those areas if I can. But nowadays, a lot of it's stream-based. So, we get to wear pajama pants on the bottom and really construct costumes from the waist up, which is, liberating now.
Fantastic. Nikita, how about you?
I grew up with my dad's love of power tools. So I was always creating something. So when I was in high school and I started getting allowing myself more to be as into video games and anime and everything as I am, then my friends were like, oh, you should go to conventions. It's like, what's a convention? So they took me to one and I bought a costume there. And then after that, I just started adding to it and then deciding I wanted to make something bigger and make something cooler and try new things. So lots of YouTubing and Googling and literally figuring it out. And if I don't bleed on a costume, it's not going to be successful. So at some point I am going to hurt myself while doing it, but that's like how I know it's going to be good.
It's a sacrifice. You have to pay the blood gods for your costume.
Yep. And I think from there, it's just become, for me, fun. So how can I make people smile with a costume?
That's a great attitude. I love it. May Leigh, how about you? How'd you start?
I just never grew out of that dress up phase from being a kid. That's what that was. I did have a grandmother that sewed. I was always terrible at it. Essentially, what I do is I find pieces that like already exist and then kind of just alter them. I believe it's called piecemailing. And that's more along the lines of what I do. I semi like was able to just kind of futz around and be crafty here and there. I've always been a little bit more into the makeup and hair side of things, and doing that side of cosplay, which I really is just the thing that I'm better at. Going through and doing comics, watching all the different Marvel and DC comics and the different makeup looks that they had was actually what really sprung me into doing more cosplay, as opposed to just slight looks here or there and glorified Halloween things.
It's next level. It's not just Halloween. It's next level. It's premier top shelf Halloween.
Every day is Halloween, and that's the best part.
Lifestyle. Yeah.
This is what we trained for.
All right, I'm going to try to share my screen again and see if this works out. Let's see, which screen do I want to share? What's happening now? Are we getting any success?
Varied.
Very varied. Yes.
Okay, lots of screens popped up.
Slide is showing in your screen.
But it's good because it's just the eyes peering above.
So you're just assuming. Yeah. Oh, okay, it's fixed.
There we go. Now I'm on different areas. Okay. Well, anyway, this first photo, as soon as it materializes, this is my Walking Dead cosplay. I'm Rick Grimes here with my family. This is the preface. Are we actually getting the picture, or is it still kind of messing up?
We can see part of the frame and part of the wife.
Part of the wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Half a child now.
Yeah.
Half a child. Well, I mean, that's kind of appropriate for The Walking Dead, though, right? I mean, people.
That's fitting. Yeah.
Oh, I think someone's adjusting something.
When adjusting, you need to make the sounds. It'll make me feel good inside.
Just jiggle something around if you're working on it. Otherwise, I'll just move on.
Give us a sign. It's just table tapping, guys. It's just going to seance it.
Okay, I guess we're going to move on. Yeah. I'll stop the share. Hopefully it's going to be messed up again anyway, I'm sure. There we go. And
So one cool thing about knowing how to sew is I've been able to make a whole bunch of masks.
Ooh, yeah, for the COVID.
Yes, I made a bunch for a local hospital. I'm making some for friends later this evening.
That's fantastic to actually be able to turn something that usually people are like, oh, you sew, and that's weird for a lot of people to hear. Like, especially when I worked a 9 to 5 and you would mention that and be like, that's cute. But like, no, now it's cute. Now it's useful.
Yeah, like for me, it's like, hey, I can do this thing, and like everybody that like I interacted with in the process have donated and like, really? Thank you so much. And I'm like, it takes me like 10 minutes. Cool. Have them.
That's fantastic.
All right. Next topic. What is your favorite horror or dark themed cosplays that you've done, or have created for, or contributed to, that sort of thing? Rachel, why don't we start with you?
So I guess a little bit of what I'm wearing right now. The choker I made for an old Sabat character, who was bishop of her city for a hot minute before being deposed. You know, because Sabat is like that. Yeah. One game, I was being raised by universal acclaim, and then the next game, everybody hated me and wanted to depose me. It's not my fault. My packmate was an infernalist. And then I've got this coat. It's my evil queen coat. I've worn it for a lot. I've worn it for uh, evil queen characters. I wore it for a female version of John Dee, and so it's pretty versatile, comfy.
Being able to style stuff is fantastic. I think that's very underrated skill because sometimes you could have the same piece and work it into like a litany of different costumes, and if you know how to like pin things and mix it up, it can really have a long life.
Yeah.
Plus, it's always good to have a power coat.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, great answer. Natali, what is your favorite dark-themed cosplay that you've done?
It's about dark. I have two of my favorite cosplays. First one, it's as I said already, it's Yennefer, because it was my cosplay, which one I improved every year. I think every cosplayer knows this feeling when you done a photo shoot and after that you see, oh no, these details, I can change it and do it better. And I done few photo shoots, and after that I remake my costume. So now I like it and it's perfect for me. Also, I like very much the Dark Age era. So I like my costume, which I made for Lucita de Aragon from Convention of Thorns LARP. I think you have photos, but I'm not sure if you can show it.
We'll try again in a minute. I'll get through these questions first. Yeah. We'll see what we can do, even if it's the little partials with just the one person on one side or something. I don't know. But Cassandra,
like a quilt. It's
Yeah.
just like a quilt of her efforts. It's
yeah, just sew them all together. It's a collage of
it's a craft
cosplays.
stream, guys. Just use your mind. All right.
It's like
Believe in it.
the slideshow could just be us like going to our closet and like holding stuff up.
Yeah.
Just passing it around. It's all good.
Yeah.
Share, why not?
The sisterhood of the traveling cosplay.
Like this.
I like this a lot.
I don't think I'd fit in any of your cosplays, but we could try.
You could fit in
Safety
one
pins.
of mine. I mean, did you see the one I'm probably going to talk about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get to you in a minute. Right after Cassandra, why don't you tell us about your favorite dark cosplay?
Ooh. I'm probably most well known for my Dark Elf Sorceress from Warhammer, which the IP itself can get really dark, which is one of my favorites. I didn't get to wear it for stream because there's too much boob, right? But I would say my favorite for a darker theme is I did a makeup look for Farscape as Scorpius. And while that is sci-fi, bear with me, Scorpius is really just like this gnarly texture to the skin that has like a corpse-like feel, and being able to play with translucence and make his mask with nothing but makeup was really fun for me. And I would love to try and do that more, like kind of like what we did for our Changeling stream, where we mixed a mask into some makeup to make it look like an insect face. And I kind of have fun mixing things like that.
Awesome. That sounds great. Nikita, how about you?
My darkest cosplay, I think, is the Seeker of Light build from Diablo 3 for the Crusader. It was a suit of armor where the shoulders, the knees, the elbows, the helmet, everything was made of skulls and melted candles. So it was really fun trying to create something organic out of completely, totally inorganic material. But I haven't really done a lot of dark costumes. It's pretty much just makeup looks. I did another cosplay of mine that is my absolute favorite. It was Torbjorn from Overwatch, fat suit, beard, and all.
It's so good.
But I'm hoping now that I'm starting to get into the TTRPG community, I'm going to start doing a lot of...
You haven't played Vampire yet.
I have not yet played Vampire, so there will be...
What?
I want to play it so bad, but I haven't played it yet.
We're going through the splash.
You're in
We'll get
for
there.
a treat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna.
I'll run a
love
game
this.
for you. I'll look you up.
Ooh, nice.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Right.
Speaking of which, Melee, this is a good time. What's your favorite dark cosplay?
So like I'm just kind of a creepy chick. So like all of the cosplays I do are usually kind of dark and creepy. I like cosplay villains more than princesses for sure. It is a toss-up. I also have an ever-evolving cosplay of Harley Quinn in all of her iterations, and Harley's kind of always been my favorite. I think the Arkham Asylum version of her is probably my favorite iteration of her in all of her glory. And just for good measure, I will also give a shout out to my Negan cosplay, because one for the girls, one for the boys, and also Negan is bomb, Negan is bae. We are Negan.
For sure. Those are great cosplays. Speaking of which, I'm going to attempt one more time to see if because it looks like we have a different format right now. This might work.
Everyone send their spirits. We will support. Hands up.
All right.
Come on. We got this.
I'm hitting share. I'm making this come up and see what happens.
I'm seeing success.
I'm seeing a success right now.
I'm seeing our spirits have supported fully, and there are images now.
Okay, great. Outstanding. What am I seeing here? Okay. Sorry, I'm on a delay here because all of my screens are completely just these photos right now. Yeah, this looks good. This looks good. Let me switch these around. That looks even better. All right.
Here we
Walking
go.
Dead. Yes, this is my family. Well, Rick's family, at least. Did a whole series of these photo shoots with a large crew of cosplayers back in Hawaii. That's why the red dirt. Notice the zombies nipping at our heels.
That's fantastic to organize such a large crew.
Oh yeah, I miss my ohana back in Hawaii so much. That's where I used to live. Now I'm in Seattle. Great cosplayers in Hawaii, and it's the best part is you show up, they completely accept you. It's amazing. This isn't the first time I've met these people, so such a great crew there.
Really cool location too. Do you know what the building was?
Yeah, it was an old army base. Those are like bunkers.
That's perfect. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Just makeup artists come out of the woodwork, photographers. It's just amazing. We love to throw on these little productions like this. And this is it's either Hawaii Con or Hawaii Comic Con. I forget which one it is. Photographer is Tien. He's a great guy too. Lots of photographers there too. That's another amazing thing. It's Hawaii, so they've got all the photographers shooting people in bikinis. They get bored of that. They love the cosplayers.
Yeah, change it up. I'm sure that's probably great for them.
I'm not sure if anybody recognizes this character that I'm playing here. This is Big B Wolf from Fables.
Such a good series, yeah.
I have done a photo shoot of a Big B Wolf, so I'm very aware. That's so cool.
Yeah, that was
Speaking
definitely
of
a favorite.
wolves, this is a classic, like old time film version of the Wolfman. Photos by Kevin. Oops, I jumped too fast. This is another photo series we did. We're trying to tell a little bit of a story there. There, I'm stalking my prey. This is a group shot with also the Frankenstein's monster and the Bride of Frankenstein working together.
I'm here for the black and white, actually. I feel like it's not very popular right now. But black and white, you could really focus in on a lot of the details, which is kind of the nerdy thing for me.
There's something to be said for that. I love that, just the whole mood that it sets. Now, I didn't give the story about how I started in cosplay. It actually started also in Hawaii. There was this darkness pageant called Count Dracula Hawaii. And this was one of my entries. This was actually really interesting cosplay. You could see head to toe. I'm there in the center. That shirt actually live, well, it's like a quick change. It folds out into that.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And so I did a transformation live on stage for a big fight scene, turning from that, prim gentleman, sort of quasi-militaristic to this barbarian warrior with the Khal Drogo marks have a lot of Game of Thrones style cosplays. Told a whole story. If you notice my skin, it's wrinkly. That's actually latex paint, which I ripped my chest open and gave her my heart at one point in the story.
Is there video? Because I feel like this is clearly a medium that would...
Right?
I believe there is a video. I haven't been able to find it, but I keep on hearing people say that there's a video of this performance. But yeah, I still am asking around. If anybody in the audience knows anybody, please let me know. Again, large crew of people. This is our Fury Road cosplay. You probably don't recognize which one I am because I'm wearing a mask. One of the war boys there. That's me. Had a lot of fun with this too. Recycling cosplay items, that's a good tip for people. Notice the belt's the same one I used for my Vampire Barbarian. Speaking of Game of Thrones, here's Ser Jorah, first season of Game of Thrones, right on the beach there. This is there's a picnic table in the background, but very great location otherwise. Primo photography.
It's just a tree on its side. Shh, it's fine.
It's one of those Game of Thrones picnic tables. Yeah. Got some Dothraki combat scenes as well. That was a lot of fun.
Is that steel plate or?
Yes, that actually is a real. The armor piece is real. That's steel. The rest is just kind of thrown together. This was early in my cosplay career, so I just kind of like found stuff at thrift stores and that kind of thing. Repurposing the armor for Jaime Lannister. This was a church in Honolulu. And there's my Cersei. It's the incest love right there. Of course, she's whispering dark deeds into my ear and, you know, the things I do for love.
I'm impressed that you have an actual church location too.
Oh yeah. They just took a $200 donation and we were able to shoot like all over. It was actually a great facility to shoot in. There was a whole crew for that one too. I don't have pictures for all of them, but we had like Littlefinger and everybody was covered. It was great. Season 1 and 2 inspired mostly. Now, I put these 3 pictures in this one, and this one, because they were used by Mark Kelly and put together for sort of like a composite artwork for Princess Gambit for the Gangrel card. That's my face. And I just love the way that he did that. Like he took the furrowed brow from this one.
Mm-hmm.
And just the jawline and ears and just like the way I'm holding my head.
That is really cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And that's the last of my slides. Let's go on to Rachel's slides. So what's going on here?
This was for a post-apocalyptic fantasy LARP. And this is just a Nerf gun and some military surplus goggles that I sort of steampunked up a little bit. The green gems are supposed to be energy crystals.
Great.
That's really cool to repurpose something that you could very easily get your hands on too.
Yeah. So this is something I made early on. It is for my then boyfriend, now fiance, inspired by Byzantine armor. It uses one of my favorite fabrics to work with, which is suede cloth. Looks like leather, sews like fabric. I love it. Another thing for the fiance, we were going to a fairy wedding. And so this is another one that's really flexible. Just a shirt and a doublet.
Cool.
This is better armor. This is chainmail armor. I made it by hand. It took forever. Oh my god.
Wow.
That was gonna be my first question. Oh my god, that must have been so much time.
Effort.
Yes. Yes, it was. First time working with chainmail, so I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's another Persian-inspired pattern.
Beautiful.
That was for the same character that I made the armor for. This is when she comes off the battlefield and has to do politics.
Nice.
That was when I was getting to play Layla the Black in a vampire LARP. She is Priscus from Los Angeles. She's a Lasombra, and the name of her pack is Dressed to Kill. So
Perfect.
I bought the hat and made the dress.
Cool.
More armor.
Oh,
More
that
armor.
sleeve detail though. Ah,
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that
why it
detail.
took forever. That is why it took forever.
Right down to the end, the tips. Yeah.
Yep.
kudos. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite dresses. I wore this one and same pattern in purple satin. So I was playing a follower of Set in a vampire game. Everybody thought I was Ventro. Running around in this dress and fishnets and spike heels. I have no idea why they believed me. Oh, this is a little piece of beadwork.
Beads?
Yes, that I made on a bead loom. Yeah, for another LARP character, sort of Native American inspired. I didn't want to like go all the way, but yeah. So this was a headband that I wore to hold my head back while I was running around in the forest.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you. Shield for the character with the armor and the really nice dress. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I am not an artist at all, and somehow I made this. Uh, I found a bunch of stencils online. The front part or the center part is a pool tile, and the outside is from a different pattern that I was considering, and I wasn't really sure about it. I forgot to turn the layer off in Photoshop when I was deciding which one to do. I'm like, oh, that actually looks really cool. So I turned it into a stencil. I painted with acrylic paint. This is a shield blank that I got from Medieval Collectibles, and they have a whole bunch of different sizes and different shapes. So if you are looking for a custom shield of any kind, I really recommend them. Use acrylic paint.
Great.
Acrylic paint is everybody's best friend.
Yeah.
In cosplay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pro
so
tip.
it's my Captain Parthia shield.
Cool.
Same vampire character. We were having a masquerade ball, and so this I made really simply because I am not an artist. I do not know how to draw, and I just sort of use this to demonstrate that you don't necessarily need to be able to draw to make something. The headpiece in the back is for a different venture, but I think they look well together. It's the coat I'm wearing right now. So you can
Yeah.
see a few more details.
I'm loving that fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am so incredibly lucky that I live like 7 miles from the LA Fabric District.
Oh, such gold. A lot of our thrift shops are kind of, they only carry newer things. Or when I lived in New York, it was very dull. It didn't have as many fun things to go through. And it seems like Philly definitely has a higher treasure trove to like rummage through now.
Very valuable. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Natali.
Yeah. It's my cosplay of Lucita Dragon Modern Nights. Now I'm also in this cosplay. So you can see how it's look with a little bit of magic with Photoshop. The same one.
Love the eyes, the shadow and darkness that you put into that. That's
Yes,
cool.
a little bit of tenebracion.
Yes.
Well,
Same
that's cool.
photo shoot.
Or shadow play.
Oh, that's amazing.
Nice use of color.
This is, as I said, it's Lucita Dragon from a convention of Thorns LARP, so it's the same character, but a lot of time ago.
Looks so classic, almost like a painting. I love the.
I was inspired
composition.
for artist Kranach, who was painting this style dresses, so I made the dress something like on his paints.
It's gorgeous. Love it.
This is another character of Vampire the Masquerade, is Ekaterina the Wise. Also, she is Bruja and one of my favorite characters, so it's one of Modern Knights. She's from New York by Night.
I like the contrast, right?
Agreed.
From the beautiful gown, and then to be able to do that and just be like, nope, now it's modern and I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
This is great.
Okay, next one is Cyberpunk. So I'm playing now this Chronic of Cyberpunk, and it's my character.
Here we go.
This is Yennefer cosplay. It was a photo shoot in the Lviv Museum. So I like older one places like this one. This is Yennefer also, and this is the look I like. And everything is perfect for me, all details.
Where did you get the medallion, or do you make that?
Medallion, it's I win it in cosplay contest.
Okay, yeah.
So
that
it's
makes a lot of
handmade,
sense.
but was making for me.
That's beautiful. It's perfect composition. I love it. You actually are Yennefer for real. I think you're
Thank
pretending
you.
to be Natali. You're cosplaying Natali. You are Yennefer.
Yeah, please recast the Yennefer. Kindly, I would be way happier about this change.
Sandra.
Oh yes. This is Katie. This is my Changeling the Lost character that we had on our stream. It was a choice because that wig weighs about it weighs like a small child on your head the entire time. But it was something that I really wanted to play with. She's a Ferris, which was not what people were guessing because she's kind of bestial in her nature. I wanted to go for like a man of war and a moth kind of together, and she used to be an aerial performer, so the tendrils even have like little bits of fairy wire in it, so it can be reminiscent of like silks. But that one was a lot of makeup work because I wanted to try and mix this weird mask into the face by wearing the mask like on my face instead of on my head where you're supposed to.
Great vision. I love it.
That one's a character that I've yet to be able to play. I really wanted to play a Circle of Dreams druid. So I have made her. She sits there. She has a sheet. She's never been played, but it's the chronic altitis in me. I just like to create characters, and sometimes I just don't have enough games for the characters that are in my brain. But
Guilty
it was
too.
a lot of fun to try and create something. I wanted it to feel like a rift opening, a portal, or like a weird MMO cinematic, but we had just a backyard to do it in. So this is in our friend Raquel Skellington's backyard in her pond in the middle of the night, and her parents were very kind to let me do this.
Great location. Yeah, that's awesome.
They were very accepting. But this one's actually inside. Part of something I've been having like an adjacent interest in is creating sets, and I was never a theater kid because I'm a little too antisocial for that. So I missed that training. That would have been really helpful in life, but no. I built a forest in our basement back there, and it's completely fabricated. It's 100% fake, so I never have to worry about like ticks, temperature, cops, all those fun things, and I can arrange it and paint it in all the ways that I want whenever I please. So in this case, it's blacklight reactive, and I was looking for things that would be like lending to that bioluminescent feel. B12 vitamins is how we have the weird gook. It tastes disgusting. But the entire costume itself is made from hot glue, just hot glue. Just drawing it on we had like an acrylic chair, and I just started gluing on it, and then just taking a spatula and then pulling it off and then tying it all together that way. So it is the cheapest costume you could ever possibly make. So it has a special place in my heart for that reason.
Creative. Absolutely. That's so cool.
And that's my Katie close-up more so with the makeup. I can't wear contacts, so it's totally done in Photoshop there, but I kind of really like the way the eyes lined up for the insect effect. That one was a lot of glitter on a boulder that I feel really bad for because we did try and clean it up, but it's glitter and therefore it is never going away. But this is different pieces of scale mail that should not be worn that way, but as is like my methodology, I just safety pin them to be kind of like shoulder pieces. I think technically, it might be a top. I don't know. I just tie them in ways that I think make me happy. And I kind of think draping is like the best way to style something.
All right, it looks like we're short on time, so let's try to be quick. I'm sorry it took so long with mine.
Hot glue. That's hot glue. Again. That's another changeling character. More focused on the makeup than the costume, though. I just wanted to match them. My dark elf baby. Like every character, it kind of changes each time. He grows. We almost died under a waterfall that day, and I don't regret it remotely. There was a rock slide, but it was cool.
Perfect picture.
And that is my Scorpius makeup. That is done with a mirror and self-shot, and I was really, really proud of it. Because I still had eyebrows at the time, so, you know, you had to cover that shit. That's a pain. And that's my Nosferatu. I haven't been able to play her on stream, but I like the idea of just the unsettling Nosferatu, not the so Chronicles is where my heart lies. Great. And that's my first time playing with prosthetic pieces for a full face appliance.
Wow.
Which great to change things up. My Sith cosplay, definitely having fun in abandoned buildings, never gets old at all.
It's fun.
And my Mina Harker, for no reason other than my pure joy. And I occasionally walk around the house in it for shits and giggles, because when you spent that much money on a costume, you have to.
Especially like that one.
yeah, pretty much. It's a childhood feeling. And that's actually from our Chronicles game that we played on stream. It's Delia, my Tremere from our V5. We collaborated with White Wolf during their launch for this one, so we have like a full video performance. And the eyeball definitely is sticky in real life. We used like lube with food coloring to get the like bleh going on in the glove.
Great.
With also our other Nosferatu from the game.
Gorgeous. The lineup of all these.
Yeah, there is in fact a little teaser on the bottom, but that hasn't been announced. But just the variety of creating characters has been a lot of fun for tabletop, even though it can be pretty limiting. But I just kind of look forward to trying to find a new style that I haven't done. Like, it's a weird like rivalry for myself. I'm like, ooh, what else can we try? And I have a really fantastic crew that really, we all kind of push ourselves to do really weird things together.
What are these faces?
Yeah, listen, these are great faces. I don't know what you're talking about. Our Slytherin boy, rest in peace.
Oh, hi, it's me.
Yeah.
This was my Crusader cosplay from Diablo 3, The Seeker of Light, done entirely with craft foam and hot glue and Warbler and 3 weeks of intense nonstop work, because that's the only time I gave myself to make this entire costume. And my Torbjorn.
I love him.
When I wore a fat suit made out of quilting and a fake arm, and everything was done out of craft foam.
You could nap on yourself.
I could nap on myself, and I did. I like doing random makeup tests on myself, pushing my face and the face shape and what I can achieve in a photo. So I like to do various makeup tests for characters. This was for the anniversary for Death Note. And I like to sit in my room at 3 o'clock in the morning playing with random eyeshadows. And my mom at this point walked in, looked at me and said, all right, good night, and walked away, because at this point she was no longer surprised with the antics I'd come up with.
I've lived with you for less than a year. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Bang. Melee.
Ooh, yes, there's the me. That was, of course, the Suicide Squad iteration of Harley Quinn. Again, just kind of finding random pieces. The armbands and stuff were not specific, and I didn't use a choker. Instead, I decided to put the property of Joker tattoo on the throat, and did all the way down the legs. I was able to actually find like temporary tattoos that were hers, which was super cool. And yeah, the tights and stuff, it's just all kind of picked out. Those arm gloves from that one, because that is the Arkham Asylum iteration of Harley. You notice I used for the Suicide Squad one as well. So I have repurposed a lot of the belts and jewelry that go on with Harley to be in a lot of the other Harleys. That version of Harley was supposed to be kind of what's the video game? Injustice. I had a brain lapse there. Injustice. How it's different. You can make like your own Harley with all the different things that you can unlock with her. So we didn't do like a specific look. We kind of just did a bunch of pieces that were very Harley-esque, and that was a joint effort. My friend Adam made the giant mallet, and me and Tino Stark made my cosplay, from the jacket to the straps to the choker. And that is the wonderful, infamous Dwayne there with me as Joker. And we actually did not plan that. We just ran into each other at
That's so cool.
that convention, and we're like, we're going to stand here together and look cool.
Great shot.
Thank you. Yeah, and that is also me sitting in my room at 3 a.m, just painting on my face. So valid. And yeah, more fun with makeup, and just, you know, experimenting with different looks. I got really good at doing fake stitch patterns on things after a Catwoman cosplay that I did, which was the Tim Burton version, and I had to actually sew that pattern in dental floss across a black bodysuit. So the fake stitching has become something that I'm fairly good at now. That is a friend of mine as the Doctor, and me as Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah, that was a bit of scar putty across the middle of the face. I did, in fact, do a thread in between them, which you can't really see. It's a very potato quality photo. I apologize. It was a very long time ago. And it's a selfie. But yeah, so that just goes to show, like, I was wearing a black dress right there. So makeup in and of itself, if you get creative and you paint with it, is enough sometimes to just pull off a look. This was just my humble brag to show you all a picture of me and Mary Poppins at Disney World, and I want you all to know that I regret absolutely nothing. So this actually was at Disney. We did a Disney bounding one day, and I was really surprised that they actually let me into the park dressed that close to Mary, because I didn't do the skirt. That was my saving grace. But I actually do have the umbrella that's there, has Polly on the end of it. And this was at Epcot Center in Orlando, and they had, of course, a phone booth there. So Time Lord on Time Lord action, Mary Poppins coming out of the TARDIS. Which is, of course, leading us to the 11th Doctor. I like to do a lot of guy cosplays. I find that my head looks really weird in wigs, and I don't like that. So I try my best to do a lot of guy cosplays, because I just find that they're more comfortable. And you get more creative with makeup and things like that, because there's not really like a guideline that you have to be specific with. That being said, this was my take on David Bowie, the Ziggy Stardust. I think I had a reference image of what, yeah, there we go. So there it is. That was a take on that. I'm a huge, huge David Bowie fan. And I actually did that the day that I found out that he had passed. This is the Countess from American Horror Story, which was fun for me because I actually did bleach up my eyebrows for that one. Specifically, and I looked like a freaking alien for about a month, no matter what I did. But the look in and of itself, I found when I tried to do it later without bleaching them, just didn't look 100% right, even with waxing them down and doing that. So this one in particular, I was very fond of. This was an Amy Winehouse that I did. She was still alive when I actually did this. And when I walked through the streets of New York, people thought I was her. So I did my best to speak in a British accent and sound very drunk. And
Pretty spot on.
I thank you. I feel like I carried it well. What you can't see is I actually did black out 2 of my teeth on the left side of my face because, you know, that was right around that time that she started to go a little ratchet. So, you know, I had to go for accuracy. This is a Dean Winchester cosplay. You can't really see the little pentagram from Supernatural on there, but the pendant was on loan from the owner of this car that I'm standing by. My friend Stephanie Desert Rose Cosplay owns one of the film-used Impalas. So during LA Comic-Con, I stood by her. This was Abaddon. From Supernatural, and Dean Winchester was one of the other days when I got to also luckily stand by the car and eat cheeseburgers like a real Winchester. This is my Negan. I love Negan so much because, again, this was one of the simplest cosplays I did. That is a red pillowcase that is actually wrapped around my neck because I could not find the proper red scarf. That is one winter leather glove on one hand and my leather jacket that I wear every day with like a $20 bat that I bought from Halloween Party City. And then I just threw fake blood on my face in an oh so tragic pattern that looks like I just beat someone to death. And that worked for me. I wish I had more pictures of this Maleficent cosplay. I was super proud of this one. I made the headpiece around the horns out of electrical tape, believe it or not. The scale pattern that's in the front was an old boot that was very similar that I had that was made out of the same material that the actual headdress was. So I was able to chop apart that boot and use it for material for that. There is wire hangers in between electrical tape to make the collar and the way that it pops up. So those wire hangers, those no wire hangers, that's a lie. Wire hangers are your friend. Wire hangers are amazing. They can be used for everything. And this is another good example of just how, again, makeup in and of itself can create a look, because there is literally nothing there but just some really fierce line work. And that was kind of a screenshot for a friend of mine who wanted an android look. This was a character that I made for The Descent, which was last year, I believe it was, playing with the Uncommon Trust. I can't even really remember what she is. I think she was an angel type character. I think she was a Solar. But that was actually my first go at working with foam. And I helped Tino do that and painted the rest of it to kind of make it look very shiny and angelic.
Right, I'm going to end this slideshow. We're well over time, but thank you so much.
And thank you for having me.
All the pictures were amazing.
Oh yeah, fantastic. I loved it. Let's just do another round of identifying who we are. I definitely want to collaborate with you, play games, anything. You guys are all amazing. I'm David Tveraas, David TV Games, Twitch and YouTube. Rachel?
Hey, you can find me at stolen_fire on Twitter. I tweet about games a lot. I've offered to teach people whatever they want during quarantine. So if you're interested, hit me up.
Natali?
You can find me for a page of my cosplay. It's natali.natmac, and you can find me also as a Russian-speaking Vampire the Masquerade fan community if you speak Russian.
Cassandra?
You can find me at Team Devil's Luck on Twitter or on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/DevilsLuckGaming.
NotMyCake?
Literally what she said. And if you have any cosplay questions, throw them at me because I will answer anything that I can.
You're a witch.
And May Leigh?
I'm May Leigh Damage. You can find me on all the socials at May Leigh Damage, MayLeigh Damage. You can catch me on Q Times doing a bunch of streams. I have a Patreon where I run games and do wonderful cosplay photo shoots that you get every month of different things. Definitely check that out.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for attending the panel. It was amazing.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.